So listen up. Over half of all adolescents and teens have experienced this next threat, leaving many parents on edge. But could there be an easy solution?
PCs, laptops, smartphones, tablets, 93% of kids between the ages of 12 and 17 in the U.S. are internet savvy, and most of them are staying connected day and night. While technology and the internet have made our lives easier, it's also become a playground of sorts where kids can push boundaries, experience cyberbullying, sexting, and engage with sexual predators. Fortunately, watchdog engines like Bark can help. The program monitors your child's various online activities and alerts parents of potential signs of danger. One dad was stopped dead in his tracks when he received an alert of his 17-year-old daughter's suspicious behavior from a tweet message to someone saying, "Yeah, we will be there after. We are picking up some bud." So how would you feel if you received an alert?
Woo. We actually have the dad join us on the phone, and we're going to protect his identity. Trent, tell us about the alert you received and what went through your mind when you got that alert.
Well, my reaction was mixed. My kids and I became Bark subscribers to help guard against the things mentioned there. It wasn't my intent to use Bark to catch them in the act of something. It was more about protecting them from others. So my first reaction was concern, obviously, for my daughter based on the message. And then I had that sense of dread that you have as a parent when you know you have to have a difficult conversation like this with your child. But I was also grateful that Bark had alerted us to the issue.
Well, but going into it, Trent, you said that, I mean, your daughter was aware that this tracking app was in place, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Well, I mean, I think that makes a big difference.
It does, and I think that when I think of tracking apps, which I'm really kind of in awe of this Bark, I didn't even know that they monitor direct messages. Maybe what happened is the daughter didn't realize that they were monitoring direct messaging, because this was actually in a direct message, correct, Trent?
That's correct. It was a direct message in Twitter. I do think she was probably aware that the monitoring was going on. I sat down with both of them to introduce them to Bark. We had to go through the process of them entering their credentials, which I had anyway, but I wanted them to be part of the process. But I do think she was actually aware that it was being monitored.
Well, that's neat, and I think as a parent that's a great idea, is that you let your kids know up front, hey, you know, Dad has access to this information, so I'm going to be looking out for you, because I think a lot of times a lot of us would be, you know, kind of on the edge of wanting to just spy on them and just see what's happening. But I applaud you for actually letting your kids know, hey, I'm monitoring what's happening.
I think that's the right way to do it.
Agree.
I mean, when you think about it, there's so many things that potentially can be harmful and dangerous, and we know the internet is that place.
Well, when you look at the stats, Dr. Ordon, over half of young people don't tell their parents if they've been cyberbullied, and I know that was a big thing for you, Trent. 1 in 5 teens have posted or sent sexually suggestive pics. Most of the times parents don't know it.
Yeah.
1 in 5 teens has received an unwanted sexual advance or picture, and less than a quarter of them will actually tell their parents. So to me, with social media as prominent as it is, and a tool like this, Bark covers Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, text, and email. Trent, I think your example is a perfect one of how it can actually potentially save a child from harming themselves or getting in a really bad pickle. So, Trent, sounds to me like this is something you would recommend to a lot of parents out there.
Yes, absolutely I would. You know, there's no way you as a parent can keep up on the volume of texts and messages and posts and comments. And so it does that for us while also giving the kids a degree of privacy.
Trent, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thanks,
You're welcome.
Trent. You know, it's interesting. I have a good friend whose daughter/stepdaughter is going through this right now, where they found some sexually suggested video on there. And so it's just kind of interesting to watch the whole process unfold of, you know, you think you know your kids, you think you know your daughter, you think you know your nieces and everything, and then to see something like that pop up with an app like this, you could at least know right when it happens. You know, because I think what happens is parents find out about it months afterwards, and it's so hard to go back and do damage control and get that off of her profile and everything. So I'm really excited about this.
The sooner you nip it in the bud, the better. And, you know, if you're on social media, it's just a matter of when.